Welcome to the GameRamble video review for Rememoried, narrated by me, darkcloud. As always, the full text version of this review can be found on the GameRamble website, linked below. The TLDR is that Rememoried combines surreal but beautiful visuals, atmospheric music and some very perplexing puzzles into one unique experience. The landscapes you explore are not only dreamlike, but in true dream fashion, also change when you look away, which takes a while to get used to. Don't expect just to walk around and gawk at the pretty visuals though, as the game also features plenty of platform jumping, which can be tricky. Overall it's an engrossing and unique title, but it might be a little too niche for some players. Gameplay receives a 7 out of 10. The game doesn't hold your hand or spell out what you must do, which can sometimes be confusing. Graphics receives a 9 out of 10. The visuals are minimalist but very beautiful. Sound receives an 8 out of 10. The audio is varied and very atmospheric. The overall score for Rememoried is 8 out of 10. And now for the full review. Some games are so good that we want to forget we played them just so we can experience them again with fresh eyes. Other games are so bad that we want to forget ever laying eyes on them. However, Rememoried is a game where forgetting is part of the theme and intertwined with the gameplay. It's a surreal first-person adventure with a focus on exploration, set in a world somewhere between memories and dreams. Rememoried is a challenging game to try and describe, but imagine Dear Esther meets The Path for an idea of what to expect. To say the game has a dreamlike atmosphere would be an understatement, as the primarily monochromatic visuals constantly bombard you with vivid lights, eyes staring back from the sky, stars, silhouettes and all kinds of kaleidoscopic effects. As if this wasn't confusing enough, the game also refuses to hold your hand, and figuring out what to do exactly is sometimes a little tricky. Best of all, since the game is based on memories and forgetting, your environment usually changes every time you turn around. It is disorienting for sure, but often your objective is either glowing in the distance or located way up high on the level. Advancing to these points usually requires lots of jumping, which makes Rememoried quite a bit more challenging than your typical walking simulators. Due to the dark visuals, the platforming parts are pretty demanding at times, and having everything around you change every time you turn around further adds to the confusion. It's also possible to fail a level when you fall off something or get hit by something, which feels a bit unfair at times. Initially, players were booted back to the previous level after failing, which felt like a real kick in the teeth due to the trial and error that is sometimes involved, but after an update, this has been made much less harsh. The game features more than 20 levels, and while they all share the same visual theme, the environments are actually quite varied. Many of the levels feel like they're set in the depths of space as you slowly walk your way across moving cogs or jump across floating rocks, while others are set amidst trees. Water is also a constant theme on the levels, as is the use of ladders, lamps or candles. All these elements combine to give the game a look and feel that is very unique, and exiting the game after playing for a while feels like waking up from a dream. You can describe some of the elements that you've seen or experienced, but as a whole it remains almost perplexing. Unfortunately, this also means that the game will be very frustrating for players who want everything spelled out for them and enjoy titles with clear-cut storylines. Some players will undoubtedly also find the whole concept of time, space and memories a bit pretentious. Although the visuals are the most distinct element of Rememoried, the soundtrack is also very fitting. Some levels only feature what sounds like ambient noises like running water in the background, while on others you'll hear classical, electronic and even opera music. It is quite a weird combination, but one that works well with the dreamlike atmosphere of the game. There's quite a bit of speech as well, but some of the lines are delivered in a very strange manner. We have no idea if this is intentional or not, but it does fit in with the overall weird atmosphere of the game. Repetition creeps in when you repeatedly fail a level and must endure the same dialogue though. Since the game uses standard controls for a first-person title, it is easy enough to play, and even these can be reconfigured if you're not fond of jumping with the mouse buttons. In total, it took us about 3 hours to complete Rememoried, but a lot of that time was dedicated to simply wandering around and taking in all the trippy visuals. It's definitely a game that would have benefited from VR support. Since the game appears to be designed to confuse players, we can't really fault it for that, and thanks to the update, the whole issue of repeating previous levels after failing a level is no longer such a big deal either. The platforming elements can definitely be a challenge for players expecting a straightforward walking simulator, as it's easy to misjudge a jump and tumble to your doom. Some puzzles are much better than others, but most levels are more enjoyable than annoying once you figure out what is expected of you. We can definitely recommend Rememoried to players who enjoy experiencing something unique, but we should also make it very clear that it won't be everyone's cup of tea. One thing is for sure, there's nothing else quite like it out there. Thanks for joining me for this Rememoried PC review. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time.